Hello everyone, this is Petasef reporting in for Temple of the Hermetic One. And today I want to talk about paganism and our mission as a temple. Since my last video, somehow my identity as a pagan priest got leaked into my local community. So people now know that I'm a pagan priest. And people don't really know what to make of that. I haven't gone out publicly and talked about it, but I'm going to talk about it here, and I'm sure word will spread naturally. I haven't talked about it because really it's nobody's business. But anyway, a pagan, as I said in a previous video, a pagan is someone who believes in understanding the universe and being a good person, trying to live right. They look towards truth and goodness and beauty. And that's it. A pagan doesn't say, you have to believe in this special thing over here, and if you don't, God's going to send you to hell and torture you forever and ever and ever. And our God's a loving God. That's not paganism. That's Abrahamism. That's Judaism and Christianity and Islam and Mormonism, even Baha'ism. That has nothing to do with sincere spiritual pursuit, sincere desire to understand the universe and live in a way that is wise and good. Paganism is natural religion, true religion. It looks to nature and tries to understand nature and what's true. Abrahamism is revealed religion, which means, hey, look at us. We found this revealed truth that we alone are the chosen people, and or that baptism is the only way to get saved, and that you have to call God this or you're going to go to hell. That's revealed religion, okay? And I don't like that. And humanity shouldn't like that, because it's necessarily pitted against all of humanity and all of nature. It's a we're right and everyone else is wrong. It's an ego cult is what it is. It's counter-religion, as the great German the great German scholar of Egypt in philosophy, Jan Osman, has called it counter-religion. That's what it is. Okay. So yeah, I believe in being a good person. Does that make me weird? No, it shouldn't. Really, I think you're weird because you believe in this weird revealed stuff, and you're spiritually terrorizing people by telling them they're going to get tortured for an eternity for not believing in these arbitrary dogmas. Furthermore, I think you're weird and messed up because you murdered millions, if not billions, of pagans throughout the centuries. For 2 millennia, hundreds of millions of people have been getting killed because they're not part of the club. Okay? So, yeah, no, I don't subscribe to revealed religion. Furthermore, these revealed religions of Christianity and Judaism and Islam, they have serious moral faults. The idea that Jesus died for everyone's sins and you don't really have to be a good person because he already did the work for you, so you're good, you're saved, that just enables people to be bad people. That's not good. Furthermore, you can't say that you have a loving God when he's the same God who genocided the people who occupied the lands that the Israelites wanted to live in. You can't say you have a loving God when he says, oh, you're going to hell if you're not baptized. If you don't believe in Jesus, then you're baptized. Then you're going to hell. You can't say that's the product of a loving or rational God. If God really is a loving God, then he would want you to understand life and nature and himself, and he would want you to be a good person. If God is a loving God, he wouldn't be saying, unless you get baptized, you cannot be saved. That's not the product of a loving God. That's the product of man. That's the product of ego cult. Furthermore, we see the faults in Judeo-Christianity with the belief that God created man. In that belief, there's a division, an ontological division, which is impossible logically, postulated between the creator and the created, between God and creation. And you can't do that. You can't have a division in being. You cannot divide being. It's logically impossible. The world is not created. It is emanated. It is part of God's being and exists in God's being. Furthermore, that idea that God creates man in order to use the world however he sees fit is very morally and logically wrong and dangerous. It ignores that nature is integral, that it's all intercodependent and works together. That people or any organism is dependent upon the environment. And the environment exists as a whole. It exists in a field. And so you cannot have, man being master over the environment, because man depends on the environment. Man can't use the environment however he sees fit. And if you look around at the world today, with how man has mistreated the environment, you can only conclude that this has been a product of Judeo-Christian philosophy. You have to live according to the way of nature. You have to heed nature and follow it. And if you don't, that's the definition of folly, of being a fool. It would not be wrong to say that Judeo-Christianity is utterly foolish, is fundamentally foolish, because it is. And it is fundamentally illogical and anti-religious, counter-religious. So this is what it means to be a pagan. And this is what I believe in practice. I believe in the gods as divine powers, as different aspects of the divine within nature that we can learn from and cultivate and grow closer towards. And most other religions in the world believe that as well. That's paganism, and pagans work together to try to understand the world. They don't put each other down and say, hey, this group over here is going to hell. No, Hindus and Buddhists and Taoists and Greeks and Egyptians, they all talk to each other and give each other ideas and try to understand things and move towards the good together. They're not about killing each other and reprobating each other because they don't believe in such and such a dogma or such and such a revealed truth, right? Okay, so now I hope that helps you understand paganism. Now, pagans also is not to be confused with neo-pagans. These people who, think it's cool to be outcasts and witches and, stupid stuff like that. Or these people who are just reacting against Christianity because they want to do whatever they want. Neo-paganism often lacks morals and moral foundation, and that is a great fault of neo-paganism, and our temple speaks against that. So, what can I say? So, as a pagan, I think a lot of people wrongly judge pagans as being bad people or into, dark rituals, and, Christians will even say, oh, their gods are devils, which is total slander. I mean, if you look at the Old Testament God and you compare him to, Plato's beliefs about the gods, you'll see very clearly which gods are good and which God is not. Which gods are gods and which God is not a god. Anyway, what can I say? As a pagan, no, we are not into dark rituals and stuff like that. Sure, we do rituals, we practice rituals and liturgy just as any other religion does. That's not weird. That's natural and normal, and all of humanity does that. So if you're falsely and uncharitably judging a person because they're doing something that you don't understand, doesn't mean they're doing something wrong. Maybe you should be a little more open-minded, a little more charitable, have a little more humanity and regard for other people and other things. But anyway, what else can I say? As a pagan, I am a pagan because I believe in being better than Christians, in being more logical, in being more moral, in being a better person. And if anyone looks at my life and compares it to the life of a hardcore Christian, I think they would agree that I have lived a very upstanding life and am a very charitable, welcoming, open-minded, but not to a fault, person. Whereas there are a ton of Christians who will totally browbeat people and spiritually terrorize them and force them to believe things that they don't understand. And there are a lot of Christians most Christians, do not try to be morally perfect because they are presuming that God has already saved them and done all the work. So that's what I have to say on that. Now I've got to talk about the mission of the temple, but I'm going to save that for another video and another time. We've got some things within the temple to talk about and iron out. And so we'll save that for another time. So today has just been, what is paganism and what does it mean to be a pagan? And I hope this helps clear up some confusion and some fears in my community about myself. I hope it comforts people into seeing that I'm not like crazy or anything. I also hope it challenges people to think seriously about religion and philosophy and theology, and to think seriously about what they honestly believe in, and to challenge themselves to affirm what is true and good and beautiful. And I'll say, there aspects of Christianity can be very good. If it's teaching divine love, that's perfect. If it's teaching sacrificing yourself for the good, that's perfect. But if other things that are inherent to the religion are also being taught, such as we're right and everyone else is wrong and we need to take over the world, or the idea of Christianity's endorsement of being illogical. Oh, don't think, don't use reason, just believe. That's very bad. What else? There are no limits. Anything's possible with God. That's bad. God can make some things happen, but he doesn't always. Sometimes he says no to your prayer. He wants you to learn. What else can I say? Not anything's possible. A man will never be able to fly without a machine or some technology. You can't just jump off a building and start flying. And if you believe it so, you know, that's not it, okay? Another huge fault I see with Christianity is this belief in what I call short-sighted, unconditional, immediate charity. That is, if someone asks you for something, you have to give it to them. If a beggar asks for your coat, don't just give him your coat. Give him the shirt off your back too. That's what Jesus said. And I believe that's bad. I believe that's wrong. I believe in what Confucius said. He says, drink from your own well. Be responsible for yourself. Don't be a beggar. There are religions like Taoism and Hinduism that teach, don't be a beggar. What else? Yeah, so that idea that you always have to be nice, that being good means being nice, it's wrong. And I talked about that in one of my videos. I talked about tough love and justice. What is good is what is conducive to life. And we can only understand what is good by looking at what is true. So if you think, well, hey, I'm going to be nice to my kid and just give him a bunch of ice cream to eat for dinner instead of real food. You know, I'm going to be nice to him. You know, I'm going to spoil him and get him this soft drink. That is not good, because that stuff is unhealthy. We can extend it into a lot of political issues as well, especially immigration. Let's just let all these millions of undocumented people over here and be nice, and just give our country away to them, because that's the nice thing to do. Let's be good Samaritans here. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's not sustainable, and you're not doing anyone any favors, and you're actually setting things up for a very ugly situation. I firmly believe that the world is in the state that it's in today, the state of chaos that it's in today, because of Abrahamic religions, because of Judaism and Christianity and Islam, but mostly because of Judaism and Christianity. This mentality of ego, of man using nature, of foolishness, right? Of we're right and everyone else is wrong. Get with us or get out of our way, Like, that has led to so many crusades and genocides. And what else? There was another aspect I was going to talk about here with all this. I don't know. It's this ego-mindedness that's destroying the earth. Oh yeah, and the fundamental illogicalness that has been imparted, that has started with these counter religions. The idea that, okay, we don't need to look to nature to see what's true. It's enough just to believe in this random doctrine. We don't have to understand divinity in the universe, because we're part of the chosen people. We're good. We're saved. That is just totally destroying everything, especially the idea that, okay, we're saved and we just have to believe in this and not think, have faith, supernatural faith. And, what else? And we just need to be nice to everybody. And we just need to obey whatever government tells us. That's all wrong. That's all wrong. Now, I do believe in government. I believe in authority. I don't believe in, liberalism. Everyone just being free to do whatever. But like I said in a previous video, authority is based on natural law. It's based insofar as you conform to the truth and justice, having goodwill for other people. And you cannot have goodwill for other people when you say, I don't care how good of a person you are. I don't care, how truly you see things. If you don't believe in quim-quam, you're going to hell for eternity. If you believe in that kind of stuff, you are not a good person, and you cannot be a good person, and you cannot be a just person. I firmly believe that. Yeah, you can be good in some ways, but overall, you can't be. Overall, most Abrahamists are in for a rude awakening in the afterlife. And look, I don't want to browbeat. And I'm not saying they're going to hell for eternity. Most pagans believe in reincarnation, that these people are, they may be punished in the afterlife, but they're going to reincarnate. And then they'll figure it out. Most people, when they die, pagans believe, aren't even really punished. If you look into the fields of asphodel in Greek mythology. Most shades or dead spirits just kind of go to a field of flowers, and everything's kind of dull, but they're with everybody, and everything's okay. There's kind of a contentedness, but a dullness and a lackingness that's there, and then they reincarnate. That's what most people can expect. There will probably be some spiritual pains, some kind of purgatory-like pains in some areas as the soul is purified. But that's what I believe, so I'm not spiritually terrorizing and condemning anyone to eternal torture. But look, I'm saying you cannot have a foundation of justice if your fundamental beliefs about the world are unjust and untrue and heedless. Okay? So it's that is what I need to talk about today. Okay? That is why I'm a pagan, and it's because I want to understand things. I want to be good. I want to be close to divinity, and I want to be a better and more reasonable person than the people I grew up under. And I want better for our culture and for our people. I firmly believe Jesus is not a good cultural figure, that we need better cultural figures that teach us to be logical, that teach us what is good. People like Confucius and Plato. We need good scriptures that aren't, bogged down with counter-religious baggage. Scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita or the Tao Te Ching or the Dhammapada. This is what we need. And that is what I believe, and that is one of the primary missions of the temple. This is what we teach. And we provide liturgy for people who want to get close to the gods and adopt a meaningful worship in their life. And I'll just say again, there are some Christians who are good people. I believe that. And I think they're good people in spite of their Christianity, not because of it. They believe it, and they see the good that can exist in their religion, that sacrificing yourself to the good. The belief of love being the ultimate divine reality. These people are good people. Some of them are deluded. Some of them, get warped in the mind, and they confuse love with making, baptism and random revealed dogmas. Love with Jesus. You can be a loving, good person without believing in Jesus. Believe it or not, Christians. Believe it or not. And to suggest otherwise is absolutely offensive and appalling and shameful. But that's the world we're dealing with right now. And people who are spiritual but not religious, we have all kinds of people who truly want to understand and truly believe in divinity, and they can't get behind all this baggage, all this counter-religious baggage, this egoistic nonsense, this power-tripping bull. And they don't know where to turn. Well, guess what? The temple is restoring paganism. People all over the world are waking up, and they're getting the true teachings out there. Teachings that the Christians tried to burn and destroy. Teachings like Plato that escaped their fires and sparked the Renaissance. Paganism will triumph, and Christianity will fall, certainly. I'm certain of that, just as Platon was. Christians can be good people. I don't want to suggest otherwise, but again, I think they're good people in spite of their Christianity. And so if I revisit my words from earlier, that they can't be good people, it's because a Christian, by definition, if you're going to believe in Christianity, Christianity is not a good religion. So how can a good Christian be a good person? In fact, I would have to say it's the bad Christians who are the good ones. The Christians who are good people in spite of all of that baggage. Anyway, those are my beliefs. And of course, we can always debate things, discuss things, and we should. Paganism is all about discussing things, not about damning people to hell. Anyway, a lot to think about. Where would I start if I were you? I would turn to very good works of wisdom literature and scripture. I would turn to the Tao Te Ching, the Book of Taoism, Zhuangzi. I would turn to the Bhagavad Gita for sure. The complete works of Plato. Everything's in Plato. Even C.S. Lewis recognized that. Those are the main ones I would turn to. And just be honest with yourself. What do you really believe? What do you think is really true and good? What do you see as being wrong and why? Do not repress yourself. Do not suppress the rational mind that God gave you. And do not warp your brain into thinking, I have to affirm Christianity or else I'll be going to hell for my lack of faith, Do not fall into that mind-warping trap, because that's what it is. It's a mechanism of self-regulation for the believers of the ego cult to stay within that ego cult, suppressing any thought to the contrary, and then dressing up any thoughts, any reasonable thoughts to the contrary of the ego cult as being a lack of faith that would damn one to hell. That's just total spiritual terrorism. And while we're on the topic, I'll recommend that you do some research about the terrible track record that Christianity has throughout history. very good book is The Darkening Age by Catherine Nix. And there's another one, I can't remember it right now. It has terror in the name. But I don't remember it at the moment. But anyway, things to think about. Let's try to be good people. Let's try to be rational and honest and loving and just. And let us praise beauty where it may be found. I leave you with these thoughts. I leave you with this heartfelt, sincere speech of mine. And my reiteration that pagans are good people and should not be harshly judged. To take Jesus' own words, take the splinter, take the beam out of your own eye before you try to take the splinter out of someone else's. Christians could take notes on that one. Okay. Paganism, logical, loving, true religion. No BS. No ego cult. Get with the program. Wake up. Inquire. Study. Introspect. Be real. And shed the baggage. Shed the baggage of the past that has brought us here. And discover the true tradition that built our civilization and keeps it going. I leave you with these thoughts, and may Apollon and Basios guide you on your life's journeys. Everyone be well, and may the gods bless you.